Welcome back to the channel. Today in our Unsung Movie series, we're discussing Heaven Can Wait, a film directed by Ernst Lubitsch, released in 1943. This movie, although successful when it was released, wasn't talked about a lot then, and things haven't improved in the 80 years since. It's really a shame, since this is a sweet little movie that has a subtle, powerful, positive message, something that is timeless and we certainly can all use these days. Heaven Can Wait tells the story of Henry Van Cleve, played by Don Ameche, who is a dissolute upper-class gentleman living in New York City. Henry visits the office of His Excellency, apparently the devil, played by Laird Creaker. Henry tells His Excellency that he died the night before, and now presents himself to be admitted to, as he puts it, the place where innumerable people had told him so often to go. However, when asked, Henry cannot give specifics on why he deserves to be there.
Would you be good enough to mention, for instance, some outstanding crime you've committed?
Crime? I'm afraid I can't think of any. But I can safely say my whole life was one continuous misdemeanor.
My dear Mr. Van Cleve, a passport to hell is not issued on generalities.
And so, to gain admission, Henry recounts the story of his life in flashback. Henry tells about growing up in New York City in the household of the Van Cleve family, consisting of his grandfather, played by Charles Coburn, his grandmother, played by Clara Blandick, his father, played by Louis Calhern, and his mother, played by Spring Byington. He tells stories about how he was spoiled growing up, never learning to be responsible, but developing a roguish charm that allowed him to get out of many situations. He tells the story of how he met and won his wife Martha, played by Jean Tierney, how they raised their son Jack, how they dealt with marital strains over the years due to Henry's infidelities, and finally how he deals with the later stages of his life. And that's it. That's the whole story. If you're looking for twist endings, hidden drama, psychological conflict, high-volume action, or woke superheroes, you're going to be disappointed. There are no moral lessons here. No bad guys who lose, no good guys who win. So why watch this movie at all? Where's the entertainment? At one level, we can simply enjoy a master storyteller practicing his craft, and Lubitsch is certainly that. Ernst Lubitsch was the master of what was known as a comedy of manners, that is, a comedy that satirically portrays the manners of a particular class or set. But Lubitsch was much, much more than that. In what is known as the Lubitsch touch, his films portray a blend of elegance, wit, subtlety, and a hint of sadness, all at the same time, while telling a simple and touching story. All of this is present in Heaven Can Wait. The dialogue is well crafted and downright hilarious, but also contains a touch of poignancy that prevents it from becoming too broad. Here's Henry convincing Martha to elope with him.
Oh, I never did such a thing before. I feel so helpless. I haven't got a thing with me. Oh, I wish I were dead.
When Romeo and Juliet ran away from home, they didn't stop to say goodbye. When Leander swam the Hellespont to his beloved, he didn't bother to take a suitcase along. When Tristan falls in love with Isolde, they have to sing for 3.5 hours, and all I'm asking you to do is to hop into a cab and drive to the first justice of the peace. What are we waiting for?
You don't have to know much about Romeo and Juliet, or why Leander had to swim the Hellespont to get to Hero, or even know that Tristan and Isolde is an opera to get the gag. It's a funny scene. And yet Henry's anxiety at a possible refusal by Martha is clear, even if at the same time you're laughing at the precisely paced dialogue. In another scene, Martha has left Henry due to his infidelities, and he travels to her parents' home to win her back on what happens to be their anniversary. It isn't going well, and she tells him to leave. He understands, but wants to give her an anniversary gift, and does so in a touching manner that almost wins her over.
But let's pretend, just for a minute. Happy anniversary. Do you like it?
I'd say it cost at least $10,000. For that money, it's a very good purchase.
A strange response from Martha, but this is because she earlier found the receipt for both this bracelet and another, which she suspects Henry gave to one of his paramours. Henry tries to tell her it was all a mistake, but she doesn't believe him, and once again, Henry is in the doghouse. With immaculate timing, Henry's grandfather, who came with him, comes out to help Martha pack her things. Henry wins her back with a story about their son Jack that also reflects on their own situation.
Well, come on, let's get started. Let's pack.
Grandpa, what do you mean?
Well, naturally, you're going back with us to New York. Well, what are you standing there for? You're making a pretty bad job of it. Come on, sweep her off her feet or we'll miss the next train.
If I can't make her happy, then I don't want her to come back.
Yeah, that's better.
No, I mean this seriously.
Well, that's why it's good.
So I've made you?
Are the rest of your things in the closet, Martha?
Yes.
For instance, do you know what our little Jackie did the other day?
What?
He bought some ice cream for a little girl.
Well, what's wrong about that? I think it's charming.
But the girl he bought the ice cream for was not the girl he should have bought it for.
When he comes and makes up his little stories, you know they're just little stories, but he wants you to believe them so badly that you wish you could. And finally, what can you do but...
She agrees to go back with him, but Henry almost blows it again. His grandfather saves him one more time, and they return to New York City.
You mean sneak out of the house in the middle of the night?
Exactly.
Like burglars?
Like thieves.
We did it once before.
Why shouldn't we do it again? How many people are lucky enough to have the thrill of eloping twice in one marriage?
That's it.
And how many women love their husbands enough to forgive them and take them back and start all over again?
Good.
And how many men love their wives enough to lie and say they're guilty when they've really done nothing wrong?
Careful, Henry, careful.
I had to show this in pieces to avoid a copyright block, but this scene is classic Ernst Lubitsch and is worth watching uninterrupted. Henry's chances for reconciling with Martha wax and wane from sentence to sentence, and you alternate between laughter and sadness with each line. All this makes Heaven Can Wait an entertaining movie, but if we wanted to discuss the Lubitsch touch, why not use his more famous films? The Merry Widow, The Shop Around the Corner, which was remade by Nora Ephron as You've Got Mail in 1998, or To Be or Not to Be, which was remade in a film of the same name in 1983 by Mel Brooks. Heaven Can Wait is a wonderful movie because it is about a man who doesn't have a remarkable life. Now, a movie that does not portray anything particularly interesting is not going to do well, and the contemporary critics did not consider this one of Lubitsch's best films for precisely this reason. Although Bosley Crowther of the New York Times described the film as a comedy of manners edged with satire in the slickest Lubitsch style, he concluded that the picture has utterly no significance. Indeed, it has very little point except to afford entertainment. I hate to disagree with a distinguished critic like Mr. Crowther, but the significance of this movie is that it celebrates an ordinary life. Sure, nothing of earth-shattering consequence happens in Henry's life. His character does not undergo a development arc or a major change, or indeed any detectable change at all. But, on the other hand, this is not a story of monumental perils that need to be faced. Unlike Batman saving Gotham City, Michael Corleone restoring his family's greatness, or Ripley saving our universe from xenomorphs...
Excuse me, sir, what?
...multiple times in many different ways, Henry lives a normal life, and Heaven Can Wait celebrates this. After all, it's the life that you and I lead, and Heaven Can Wait says that this is good enough. Henry is convinced that he has led a dissolute and worthless life, but His Excellency disagrees. In explaining his decision on admitting Henry to his domain, he points out that there are many people up there who are eagerly awaiting him.
After all, they may inquire about you among the residents in the main building. I think you'll find a lot of people who'll give you a good reference, and that always helps. And your grandfather.
Oh, yes. Grandfather.
Don't you think he'll be waiting for you? And if they all should fail, there's still someone else.
Yes. She's up there.
And she will plead for you.
Do you think so?
You know she will.
These little things are the ones that really count. And they are what allow Henry Van Cleve, and hopefully all of us, to take that final elevator up. Socrates believed that a life without a driving philosophy, an unexamined life, was not worth living. Henry Van Cleve has a life philosophy. It's to enjoy his life and try to avoid hurting anyone insofar as he is able. His intentions are good, even if the frailties of being a human cause him to lapse here and there. He hasn't discovered a method for preventing a terrible disease. He hasn't written the great American novel or beautiful music. He hasn't developed an influential philosophy, and he hasn't selflessly devoted his life's work to charity. Sure, Jonas Salk, Herman Melville, John Lennon, Ayn Rand, and Mother Teresa all have lives worth examining, but that's easy to see. All lives are worth examining. It's just that some take more effort to do so. The beauty of a normal life is not an uncommon theme. Our Town, a Thornton Wilder play, is a bittersweet story of how little things, ignored by all of us, are actually what make life rich and, in Socrates' words, worth examining. Our Town is the story of two families, the Gibbses and the Webbs, who live in a small town in Connecticut and live normal lives. As for Henry Van Cleve, nothing extraordinary happens to anyone in this play. People just go about their daily living. Emily Webb meets George Gibbs when they are children. They go to school together, fall in love, get married, and have their own children. For almost all of the play, nothing seems to happen, and Bosley Crowther would probably say that this play has utterly no significance. Nearing the end of the last act, however, Our Town comes to the point. Emily dies giving birth and is brought to the local cemetery on the hill for burial. There, as a ghost, she meets the ghosts of other people from the town who had previously passed, including her mother-in-law. Against the advice of the other ghosts, Emily wants to go back and relive a day in her life, and so the stage manager, who in the 2003 Broadway version was portrayed by Paul Newman, brings her back to the morning of her 12th birthday. At first she is excited at experiencing her life again, but she is soon disturbed to find that no one is paying attention to the little things going on in their daily lives.
Oh, and this is from you. Why, Mama, it's just lovely, and it's just what I wanted. It's beautiful.
Oh, I was hoping you'd like it. I hunted all over for it. Your Aunt Nora couldn't find one in Concord, so I had to send all the way to Boston for it.
So, all that was going on, and we never noticed. Take me back. Up the hill. To my grave.
Emily returns, understanding that it was not a good idea to relive her past, as she finds out that people can't even see the little things that make their lives worth living.
Mother Gibbs,
Yes, dear.
they don't understand, do they?
No, dear. They don't understand.
Virtually all of Our Town consists of mundane events, but this is the point of the play. Just like the play's characters, the audience was experiencing worthwhile lives on the stage in front of them and didn't even notice it. And so it is for Heaven Can Wait. Lubitsch is making the same point, that worthwhile lives are those that survive trials and tribulations, but still do the little things that enrich everyone. If we could only realize during our own lives that a worthwhile life need not be defined as being a public martyr or being renowned as one who proposes to do good, but is defined by actually doing good, even in private, we would be much happier. Henry Van Cleve didn't fake a hate crime or swindle customers to try to earn fraudulently a life worth examining, but he achieved one anyway, just by being himself. And this is the lesson of Heaven Can Wait. Thanks for watching this video. I include links below if you wish to see this film, either online or if you wish to buy it. Please like and subscribe if you like this video and want to see more like it. I include links to other videos on my channel here, so please click on them if you have the time and are interested. Until next time, take care.